Okay, IBUS 75, week 4 update. We want to try to encourage the folks that aren't actively participating right now to get started in the course. We'd like to see you all finish. We have a list here that Chu gave me on what students expect to gain from IBUS 75. Understand the world behind logistics. We're going to cover that. We cover that. Different forms of transportation. We cover that. Air, rail, truck, ocean. What it's really like in the real world. Well, that's why we're kind of doing this. In fact, this is a good point. We're redeveloping this course specifically to keep it current to what the current situation is. As an example, when I get done with these videos, I'm heading down to downtown Long Beach for the Port of Long Beach's reception for the Trans-Pacific Freight Conference, which is the largest gathering of ocean carriers that deal with the Trans-Pacific trade, which is the largest trade route for cargo. We will be, over a couple of poo-poos, we will be discussing the latest changes from the last time we got together last year. The technology side of logistics is a pretty interesting issue now because it's one of the points here. The reason is that logistics is dependent on physical labor. And physical labor is a rare commodity today. And so you can either raise your hourly rate to the point where you're non-competitive, or you can become more systematic and automatic. And it's less about physically being able to pick things up, and it's more now about, do you have the cognitive skills to operate certain technology like scanners, whatever? Do you have the discipline to complete your task as assigned? And Amazon now has these risk tracking mechanisms where they're tracking workers through the warehouse, right? Well, the business aspect of trade, that's an interesting one, right? When we have the IBUS 1 class, which is international business, we talk about global trade versus this America First phenomenon that we're going to go through. Today's news is all over. Gary Cohn's resigned from the White House over this trade issue. Peter Navarro, who's a professor at UCI, has a very strong nationalist view of trade. That's the good news. The bad news is he's the only one remotely connected to the economics community that supports that. And so we're going to have to see how this all plays out. Okay, profits in our Management 80 class, the entrepreneur class, we talk about creating your own business, operating your own business, and profit and losses, and how you do that. In the logistics industry, it's really kind of simple. You have real estate costs, which is the cost of your facility, the cost of your assets, being trucks, trains, carriers, ocean, ships, airplanes, whatever. With ships and airplanes, those individual units are very, very expensive. With trucks, a little more reasonable for somebody to get in the trucking business than the airline business or in the rail business, which requires a huge capital investment. The other one of the points here I want to make is that the reason logistics is significant here in the Port of LA and Long Beach, as we talked about before, is it's the primary driver of the economy in the Long Beach area in particular. And because it's a primary driver, it generates a lot of economic growth, both in employment with one organization or by creating your own business. Okay, Chu, I think I got everything on the list.